Welcome to the Weapons Training Lesson. In this lesson, we will review the weapon systems employed by the Huey and their associated cockpit controls. You will then have some live fire time on the target range. Press the spacebar key when you are ready to begin. The Huey is equipped with the M21 and M23 armament subsystems. The M21 system utilizes two external hardpoint weapon stations on each side of the helicopter. These can be loaded with 7 or 19 tube launchers of 2.75-inch unguided rockets and M134 7.62mm 6-barrel high rate of fire machine guns attached on steerable mounts. The M23 system includes two traversable 7.62mm M60D machine guns operated by the door gunners on each side of the helicopter. You can press the F2 key to go to an external view of the helicopter and use the mouse to get a better view of the weapon systems. Press F1 to return to the cockpit view. Press the spacebar key to proceed. Rockets are aimed and fired by the right pilot using the M60 reflex sight. Rocket launchers are installed on fixed weapon stations, so aiming is accomplished by flying the helicopter to place the aiming pipper over the target. The M134 machine guns can be fired in either stow or flexible mode. In stow mode, the guns are fixed in the forward position and are operated by the pilot much like the rockets. In flexible mode, the left pilot uses the flexible M21 sighting station to aim the guns. This makes it possible to aim away from the helicopter's nose by physically moving the aiming sight to place the reticle over the target. The guns track the movement of the aiming station. If the operator aims too far to either side, only the inboard gun will fire to prevent striking the helicopter's own fuselage with the outboard gun. Press the spacebar key to proceed. The weapons are selected and prepared for fire using the armament control panel and intervalometer control panel on the central pedestal. The armament control panel includes the master arm switch and the gun selector switch, which controls selection of the left, right, or both machine guns for fire. The intervalometer control panel includes the armament selector switch, which controls selection of the guns or rockets for fire, and the rocket pair selector switch, which sets the number of rocket pairs to be fired while the trigger switch is held down. This panel also includes the rocket reset and launcher jettison switches. Press the spacebar key to proceed. We'll now review the steps required to employ rockets. First, set the armament selector switch to 2.75 or press right alt and close bracket to select rockets for fire. Then set the number of rocket pairs you wish to fire while the trigger switch is held down. Because rockets induce a significant recoil and this is a practice mission, let's set this to 1 or press right control close bracket once. This setting will fire a single pair of rockets every time you squeeze the trigger. Set the master arm switch to safe or press right shift and close bracket once. This will allow us to see the aiming sight indication but prevent accidental firing before we are safely airborne. Press the M key on the keyboard to turn on the aiming sight. You now have an aiming reticle projected forward of the helicopter. To employ rockets, you will fly the helicopter to place the aiming reticle over the target, stabilize your flight path to minimize side slip, and fire. Rockets are not very accurate and most effective against groups of soft targets at ranges of up to 2 kilometers. Accuracy increases as you get closer to the target, but so does the risk of being hit by return fire. As a general rule, you should turn away from the target immediately after the attack and avoid flying over the target whenever possible. Press the spacebar key to proceed. Now let's review the steps required to employ the M134 guns. First, set the armament selector switch to 7.62 or press right Alt and open bracket to select the guns. Note that you can also choose to fire only the left or right gun using the gun selector switch on the armament control panel, but we'll keep both guns selected. The right pilot can fire the guns in stow mode, much like the rockets, by simply flying the helicopter to place the reticle over the target and firing. However, to make best use of the guns, let's switch to the left pilot position. Press 2 on the keyboard to jump into the left seat. You can now see the M21 sighting station display with the aiming reticle. With flexible mode on, the left pilot can slew the guns away from the straight ahead position and toward a desired target. To try this, you can use the arrow keys on the keyboard numpad, the view controls on your joystick, or enable mouse look by pressing left Alt and C on the keyboard and then use the mouse to control the direction of the sight. Practice controlling the sight until you are comfortable doing so, then return the sight to a forward position and press the M key on the keyboard to stow the sight away and disable flexible mode. It's important to note that when flexible mode is on and you're in the left pilot position, the AI pilot takes over helicopter control according to the selected autopilot mode. Refer to the aircraft documentation for an overview of available AI flight control commands. When the autopilot availability option is set to on in the UH1-H Special Options menu, the autopilot and weapons indicator can be toggled on and off by pressing left control, left shift, and H. AI flight control can be toggled on and off at any time by pressing left Win and A. Now let's try door gunner position. Press 3 on the keyboard to take the right gunner's position. As with the M21 sighting station, you can aim the M60D machine guns using a number of view options, including the keyboard numpad, the joystick view controls, or by toggling mouse look mode with left Alt C. Practice aiming the gun until you are comfortable doing so. Press the spacebar key to proceed. As with the left pilot position, the AI pilot takes over helicopter control when you take the door gunner's position. Once again, AI flight control can be toggled on and off at any time by pressing the left Windows key and A. Press 1 on the keyboard to switch back to the right pilot position. Let's select rockets for fire once again, as it will be our first weapon in the live fire exercise. Set the armament selector switch to the 2.75 position or press right Alt and close bracket once. Remember, we've already set our rocket pair selector switch to 1. This concludes the overview of the weapon systems. You can proceed to do some ground attack runs on the target range, which is set up about 2 kilometers directly ahead. The target range includes a variety of stationary targets and a group of moving vehicles. Turn on the aiming sight by pressing M on the keyboard. Set the master arm switch to armed or press right shift and close bracket. Whenever you're ready, proceed with takeoff and climb out to about 400 feet of altitude as you head south toward the target range. Keep your airspeed below 80 knots to give yourself time to aim and operate the controls. Find the target on the range and stabilize the helicopter so that the pipper stays on target. Minimize side slip during the attack by checking the slip ball indicator on the instrument panel. Press the trigger switch or the spacebar key to fire one pair of rockets at a time. Let's switch to guns. Set the armament selector switch to 7.62 or press right alt and open bracket. Fly the helicopter to put the targets about 1 kilometer ahead of us and press 2 to take the left pilot position. You can take over flight control by pressing left wing and A if you wish. Try strafing a target by moving the sighting station using your view controls and pressing the trigger switch or spacebar to fire the guns. Fly the helicopter to place the targets at about 10 or 2 o'clock position off the nose and take the right or left door gunner position by pressing 3 or 4. When firing the door gun, you need to aim slightly off target in the direction opposite from the helicopter's flight path. You can also change the AI flight control command to orbit by pressing left alt and A. Let's see how well you do with the door gun. This concludes the weapon training lesson. You can switch seats and continue to practice with the rockets, guns, and door guns. Good hunting!